Lie down. Don't resist. 6 words. Yuki's heart stops. Her fingers go numb. The American soldier stands in the doorway blocking the light. Behind him, more soldiers, all men, all armed. This is it. What they warned her about. But why is he holding a black bag instead of a weapon? Yuki doesn't move. Neither do the 46 other women packed into this tin-roofed building in Okinawa. July 1945, 93 degrees. The air tastes like rust and fear. Over 10,000 Japanese military women served by war's end. Fewer than 300 were captured alive. Most chose bullets over surrender. Yuki watched 2 colleagues do it. She couldn't pull the trigger. Now she knows why she should have. Teki ni tsukamatara, shi yorimo hidoi koto ga mateiru. If captured by the enemy, what awaits is worse than death. That's what Captain Morimoto told them. That's what the pamphlet said. That's what every woman in this room believes with absolute certainty. The soldier steps forward. Boots crunch on broken concrete. Yuki pushes Sachiko behind her. Sachiko is 19, communications operator, the youngest here. Her whole body trembles against Yuki's back. Don't resist, the soldier repeats. His Japanese is broken, clumsy. But those words are clear enough. Yuki's throat tightens. Her hands ball into fists. If this is happening, she won't make it easy. The soldier kneels. Wait. He kneels. Slowly. Puts the black bag on the ground. His hands are shaking. Why are his hands shaking? Yuki watches him unzip the bag. Metal glints inside. Instruments. Sharp things. Her stomach drops. But then she sees something else. A white cloth wrapped around his upper arm. A red symbol on it. Not the rising sun. Something different. Harumi, 27, a former school teacher conscripted as a field medic, whispers from the corner. Her voice cracks. That's a medical armband. Yuki doesn't believe her. Can't believe her. Medics don't tell you to lie down. Medics don't make you undress. This is a trick. It has to be. The soldier pulls something from the bag. Round. Metal. 2 tubes connected to earpieces. Yuki has never seen a stethoscope before. Japanese military nurses used different equipment, simpler. This thing looks like a torture device. Sachiko starts crying. Loud, gasping sobs that echo off the tin walls. The soldier freezes. His face changes. He looks scared? No. Enemies don't get scared. That's not possible. Then another voice cuts through the chaos. Japanese. Perfect Japanese. But the accent is wrong, and what he says next makes everything worse. Take off your shirts, all of you, now. The voice belongs to Sergeant Odera, 31 years old, Japanese-American, born in California. His parents were from Hiroshima. He thinks he's helping. He's not. The women start screaming. Yuki grabs Sachiko's arm so hard her nails break skin. 3 women bolt for the door. 2 more collapse where they stand. Harumi backs into the wall, sliding down until she's crouched on the floor, arms wrapped around her knees. Kore wa nani? Naze watashi tachi wo haraseru no? What is this? Why are they making us undress? The medic, Corporal Miller, 24, from Ohio, jumps backward like he's been shot. The stethoscope clatters against concrete. He's saying something in English, fast, panicked, but Yuki doesn't understand a word. 83% of Japanese POWs expected torture or execution upon capture. That's what intelligence reports would later reveal. The number for women was higher. 96% expected assault. Yuki is watching those statistics play out in real time. Odera's face goes white. He stops talking. His mouth opens, then closes. He turns to Miller, and Yuki catches one word she understands. Rape. The room goes silent. Even the sobbing stops. Miller's hands aren't just shaking now. They're vibrating. He steps back again, then again, until he's pressed against the wall, as far from the women as he can get without leaving the room. Why isn't he advancing? The propaganda was specific, detailed. They described what Americans did to captured women, the order, the method, the duration. Yuki memorized it like a prayer of warning. None of it included the enemy retreating. Miller slides down the wall, sits on the floor, pulls his knees up, makes himself small. Naza, kare wa sawata no, wanaka. Why did he sit down? Is it a trap? Yuki watches his chest heave, watches sweat drip down his temple, watches his eyes, and sees something she doesn't expect. Fear, real fear, the same fear she feels. But that's impossible. He has the power here. He has the weapons. He has the numbers. Why would he be afraid? Odera kneels beside Miller. They whisper. Yuki strains to hear but catches nothing. Then Miller does something that violates every military protocol, every power dynamic, every expectation burned into Yuki's brain. He bows, forehead nearly touching the ground, clumsy angle, wrong form, but unmistakable. An American soldier, bowing to Japanese prisoners. The room holds its breath. And then Odera translates what Miller says next. I am a healer, not a soldier. I need to check if you're sick, only sick. I swear on my mother's life. Odera's voice shakes as he translates. The words hang in the air like smoke. Nobody moves. Yuki replays the sentence. Healer, sick, check. These words don't fit the narrative in her head. They're wrong-shaped, like puzzle pieces from a different box. Karera wa watashi tachi wo dobutsu no yoni atsukau shitiru. They're going to treat us like animals. That's what Yuki's brain insists. But her eyes see something different. The medic's still on the floor, his white armband soaked with sweat. His instrument untouched on the concrete. Japanese propaganda claimed 100% of captured women were violated. The pamphlets described it in clinical detail. Times, positions, the sounds women made. Yuki read those pamphlets until she could recite them from memory. Actual documented assault cases in U.S. custody, under 0.3%. But 0 Japanese women knew that number. 0. Harumi speaks from the corner. Her voice is hollow. Dead. It doesn't matter what he says. They all say things first. Then they do what they came to do. Yuki nods. Harumi is right. Words mean nothing. Actions mean everything. And yet, the medic hasn't moved toward them, not once. He's pressed against that wall like it's the only thing keeping him upright. His breathing is ragged, shallow, the breathing of someone trying not to panic. Why would a predator panic? The tin roof creaks in the heat. Dust particles float through shafts of light. Somewhere outside, a truck engine rumbles. Odera stands slowly, raises both hands, speaks again. He wants to listen to your heartbeats, that's all. With this, he points at the stethoscope. It's cold. It touches your chest, through your shirt. He doesn't need you to undress. He made a mistake. His Japanese is bad. He meant medical examination, not what you thought. Silence. Then Keiko moves. Keiko is 34, former hospital administrator in Osaka, managed 340 beds before conscription. She hasn't spoken since capture. She walks toward the medic, slowly, deliberately. Every woman in the room gasps. Keiko, no, Yuki starts. But Keiko doesn't stop. She walks until she's standing directly over Miller, looking down at him. He looks up at her, doesn't move, barely breathes. Then Keiko does something that shatters every expectation. She sits down across from him, crosses her legs, and waits. Show me, she says in broken English. Show me what you do. Miller's hands shake so badly he nearly drops the stethoscope again. He picks it up, shows it to Keiko, points at the round part, then at his own chest. Makes a listening gesture with his hand cupped to his ear. Keiko watches, doesn't blink. Kare no te ga furuete iru. His hands are shaking. That's what Yuki notices. That's what she can't stop noticing. In the propaganda, in the warnings, in every nightmare she's had since joining the military, the enemy's hands are always steady, confident, eager. These hands look like hers feel. Miller places the stethoscope against his own chest, listens, then offers the earpieces to Keiko. She hesitates. 1 heartbeat, 2. Then she takes them. Yuki's breath catches. Harumi whimpers. Sachiko grabs Yuki's arm again. Keiko puts the earpieces in. Miller places the round part against his chest. Hold still. The room is silent except for the distant truck engine. Keiko's face changes, slowly, like ice cracking. "I hear it," she whispers. His heart, fast, very fast. She pulls the earpieces out, looks at Miller, then does something that makes Yuki's knees buckle. She unbuttons the top 2 buttons of her shirt, points at the stethoscope, points at herself. "Now me." Miller freezes. His eyes dart to Odera. "Help me!" Odera translates rapidly. "She's giving consent. She understands. She wants you to demonstrate on her." Miller's throat bobs. He nods once, raises the stethoscope. His hands still shake, but less now. He places it against Keiko's chest, just below the collarbone, over her uniform except for those 2 undone buttons. He listens, and his face changes. The color drains completely. His lips part. He pulls the stethoscope away, listens again, pulls away. "Odera." His voice is different now, professional, urgent. "Ask her how long she's had heart problems." Keiko's eyes widen. She understands English better than she speaks it. "How? How did you know?" Miller doesn't answer. He's already moving, grabbing supplies from his bag, talking fast to Odera. "Rheumatic heart disease, classic murmur. She needs a cardiologist. She needs medication we don't have here. She needs—" He stops, takes a breath, looks directly at Keiko. "How long have you known?" Keiko's face crumbles. 4 months. She's hidden it for 4 months. A sick leader shows weakness. A sick leader gets replaced. A sick leader can't protect anyone. But now, here, in front of the enemy. Someone finally noticed. And what happens next changes everything. Keiko starts crying. Not from fear, not anymore. From something Yuki doesn't recognize at first. Something she hasn't seen in months. Relief. Miller barks orders in English. Odera translates, but Yuki isn't listening to the words. She's watching Miller's hands. They're not shaking anymore. They're precise, quick, professional. He wraps something around Keiko's arm, pumps a small rubber ball, watches a dial, writes numbers on his palm because he doesn't have paper. "Kare wa watashi wo tasuketai no teki ga." He wants to save me? The enemy? That's what Keiko whispers. So quiet Yuki almost misses it. 40%. That's the mortality rate for rheumatic heart disease if untreated past 6 months. Keiko is at 4 months. She has 8 weeks, maybe less. U.S. field hospitals had cardiac medication. Japanese military never received. Supply chain differences, industrial capacity gaps. The same reason American soldiers ate better, healed faster, survived more. Miller calls for a stretcher. 2 more medics appear in the doorway. Both stop when they see the room full of terrified women. "Easy," Miller says. "Everyone stay calm. We're moving her to the hospital tent. Just her. Nobody else." Odera translates. Yuki hears the words but doesn't process them. Her brain is stuck on something else, the white armband. Now she sees it clearly, red cross on white fabric. She's seen this symbol before, in a different context, on enemy aircraft, on enemy vehicles. She was taught it marked high-value targets. She was never taught it meant healer. They lift Keiko onto the stretcher. She grabs Miller's armband, won't let go. Her fingers clutch the white fabric like it's the only real thing in the world. "Will I die?" she asks in English. Miller looks at her, really looks, not at a prisoner, not at an enemy, at a patient. Not if I can help it. They carry her out. The tin door swings shut. Dust swirls in the sudden absence. 46 women remain. Yuki, Sachiko, Harumi. 43 others whose names Yuki doesn't know yet. The room is silent. Then Sachiko speaks. Her voice is small, confused. "What? What just happened?" Yuki doesn't have an answer. Everything she believed 20 minutes ago is crumbling. The propaganda, the warnings, the certainty. She looks at the door where they took Keiko, then at Odera, still standing in the corner, then at the stethoscope Miller left on the floor. And she makes a decision. I want to be examined next. You're insane. Harumi's voice cracks. She's still crouched against the wall, arms around knees, rocking slightly. Yuki ignores her, walks to the center of the room, stands where Keiko sat. The stethoscope is still on the floor. She doesn't touch it. The tin door opens again. Miller returns. Behind him, someone new, a woman. American uniform, same white armband. Nurse Lieutenant Adams, 28, from Pennsylvania. She stops in the doorway. Her eyes sweep the room, land on the terrified faces, the defensive postures, the trembling hands. And she starts crying, silent tears rolling down her cheeks. She doesn't wipe them away. Naze kanojo wa naite iru no. Why is she crying? Yuki doesn't understand. Americans don't cry for Japanese. Americans hate Japanese. Americans want them dead. That's what the pamphlet said. That's what the officers promised. Adams knew. Before she walked in, she knew. Intelligence reports crossed her desk last week. Detailed analysis of Japanese military propaganda, what they told their women about capture, what those women expected. She knew she'd find terror, but reading about terror and seeing it are different things. Miller approaches Yuki slowly, hands visible, no sudden movements, like approaching a wounded animal. You volunteer? Odera translates. Yuki nods. Once? Miller gestures toward Adams. She'll examine you. Female patients, female medic. If you're comfortable with that. Yuki's brain stutters. Female medic, female hands, female examination. This isn't possible. Japanese military didn't have female medics in the field. They didn't have protocols for female POWs because female POWs weren't supposed to exist. You died before capture. Everyone knew that. Everyone except the 300 who didn't. Adams steps forward. Her movements are slow, deliberate. She shows Yuki the stethoscope, points at her own chest, demonstrates the motion, everything Miller did, but softer somehow. May I? Adams asks. Odera translates. Yuki's hands shake as she unbuttons the top of her uniform. Just 2 buttons, just enough. Adams places the stethoscope against her chest, listens. The metal is cold. Yuki flinches, but she doesn't. Pull away. 12 seconds pass. Adams nods, writes something on a clipboard. Healthy heartbeat, no abnormalities. That's it. That's all. Yuki buttons her uniform, looks at Adams, looks at Miller, looks at Odera, then she turns to the room. It's real, she says. They're checking if we're sick, that's all. I promise. Sachiko stands, walks forward, stands behind Yuki. Me next. Then another woman. Then another. But Harumi still hasn't moved. 39 women examined. 8 hours. Adam's hand cramps from writing. 12 have tuberculosis. Untreated. Contagious. They didn't know. 3 have injuries requiring surgery, shrapnel, infection, bone fragments. 1 is pregnant. Didn't know until Adams found the heartbeat. But Harumi still hasn't moved. She's in the same position, same corner, same wall, arms around knees, eyes fixed on nothing. Emiko washinda, watashi wa okubyomo no datakara ikite iru. Emiko died. I'm alive because I was a coward. That's what she whispers, over and over. A broken recording. Yuki approaches slowly, kneels beside her, doesn't touch. Harumi. The examination is almost over. You're the only one left. Nothing. Harumi, they're not going to hurt you, I promise. I did it. Sachiko did it. Everyone did it. Nothing. Adams walks over, sits on the floor across from Harumi. Doesn't speak, just waits. The silence stretches. 1 minute, 2, 5. Then Harumi starts talking. Our officers told us to save the last bullet for ourselves. Her voice is flat, dead, like she's reading from a script. When the Americans landed, when it was clear we couldn't win, Captain Morimoto gathered us, 8 women, signals operators, nurses, 1 translator. She finally looks up. Her eyes are empty. He said surrender wasn't an option. He said what they'd do to us, hours of it, days maybe, until we begged for death. He said the bullet was a mercy. Adams doesn't react. She's heard stories like this, but never directly, never from the person who lived it. Emiko went first, my best friend, 21 years old. She smiled at me before she did it, said she'd see me on the other side. Harumi's hands shake, then Yoko, then Michiko, then Akane, then Fumiko, 5 shots, 5 bodies. She looks at her own hands like they belong to someone else. I put the gun to my head. I pulled the trigger. The room goes silent. It jammed. Yuki's breath catches. The gun jammed. And then the Americans were there. And I waited for them to do what Captain Morimoto promised. But they just pointed at the ground, told me to sit, gave me water. Her eyes find Adams. I've been waiting for 3 weeks for what you're supposed to do, but you keep not doing it. Adams reaches out, slowly, places her hand on Harumi's. We're not going to do anything, except this. She holds up the stethoscope. May I? Harumi doesn't answer. Adams doesn't push. She keeps her hand extended, palm up, open, waiting. 30 seconds. Pass. A minute. Then Harumi reaches out, touches Adams' hand, just fingertips, testing. Adams doesn't move, doesn't flinch, doesn't grab. Kore wa wana janai. This isn't a trap. The realization hits Harumi's face like sunrise, slow, spreading, unstoppable. She bursts into tears, not the crying from before, not fear tears. These are different, raw, gasping. The kind of crying that comes from years of tension releasing at once. Adams moves closer, opens her arms, offers but doesn't force. Harumi falls into her, sobbing against her shoulder, hands gripping her uniform like a drowning person, grips driftwood. It's okay, Adams whispers. Odera translates, but Harumi doesn't need the words. The tone is enough. The embrace is enough. Yuki watches. Her own eyes burn. She thinks about Emiko, 21 years old, smiling before she pulled the trigger. Believing the propaganda so completely, she chose death over the chance, the small, impossible chance, that it was wrong. 10,000. That's the estimate. 10,000 Japanese military women who died by suicide rather than surrender. Okinawa alone. Over 500 documented cases in the final weeks. Harumi's unit, 8 women. 5 followed the order. 3 didn't. 3 women who became prisoners instead of corpses. 3 women who are still breathing because a gun jammed, because hands shook, because fear hesitated 1 second too long. Adams holds Harumi until the sobs slow. Then she pulls back, wipes Harumi's face with her sleeve. Can I check your heartbeat now? Just your heartbeat. That's all. Harumi nods, barely perceptible. Adams places the stethoscope, listens. Her face changes. She needs to eat more. Her heart rate is too slow. Malnutrition. She writes on her clipboard, then looks at Harumi. When did you last have a full meal? Odera translates, Harumi thinks. Before the invasion. Maybe a month? Adams' jaw tightens. She turns to Miller. Get the ration packs, all of them. These women aren't prisoners right now, they're patients. Miller nods, leaves. Yuki watches him go, watches the white armband disappear through the door, watches the sun set through the tin walls. Everything she believed this morning is ash now. The propaganda, the warnings, the certainty that enemies are monsters. It was all lies. But if that was lies, what else was? What else has she believed that wasn't true? The door opens again. Miller returns with boxes, and what he says next breaks the final wall. It's the same food we eat. Miller drops the boxes on the floor, opens one, pulls out a rectangular package. K ration, standard U.S. military issue, biscuits, chocolate, processed meat, cigarettes. He opens the package, takes a bite of the biscuit, chews, swallows, shows them his mouth is empty, then hands the rest to Yuki. Watashi tachi wa doku suru to omotta. We thought you would poison us, that's what Yuki almost says. But she doesn't, because she's tired of thinking the worst. She's tired of expecting pain that never comes. She eats, The biscuit is dry, bland, tastes like cardboard mixed with salt. It's the best thing she's ever eaten. Sachiko grabs a package. Harumi takes one with shaking hands. Soon all 47 women are eating. The room fills with the sounds of chewing, crinkling wrappers, surprised gasps at the chocolate. "This is more than we got as soldiers," Yuki says quietly. Odera overhears. His face darkens. "What do you mean?" "Our daily rations, before capture. This is more. Better quality, too." Japanese military rations by 1945, less than 1,000 calories per day for rear echelon units. U.S. K rations, 3,000 calories per day, minimum. The math is brutal. The enemy was better fed than their own side. The enemy they were told to fear more than death was keeping them better than their own command did. "Watashi tachi wa uso wa tsukarata, subira ni tsuite." We were lied to about everything. Harumi says it first, but soon others echo her, whispered at first, then louder. A chorus of realization. Adam sits beside Yuki, opens her own ration pack, eats alongside them. "What happens now?" Yuki asks, the question that's been burning since Keiko was carried out. Adams chews, thinks. Medical treatment for those who need it. The TB cases go to a field hospital. The pregnant woman gets prenatal care. Keiko, she pauses. Keiko needs surgery, specialists. We've radioed for a cardiac team. Yuki blinks. "You're bringing specialists? For Japanese prisoners?" "For patients." Adams's voice is firm. "You're not soldiers right now. You're patients. That's the only thing that matters in my tent." The sun disappears completely. Someone lights a lantern. The tin walls glow orange. 47 women sit on the floor, eating American food, being treated by American medics, alive when they expected to be dead, or worse. Yuki looks at the white armband on Adams's sleeve. Then she makes a decision about her future. But first, she needs to tell them about what happened before the Americans came. 6 months later, December 1945, POW processing camp outside Manila. Yuki stands in front of a classroom. 30 Japanese soldiers sit at wooden desks, former enemies learning English from a former prisoner. She still has nightmares. Probably always will. But they're different now. Instead of expected horrors, she dreams of Emiko's smile, the 5 shots, the jammed gun. She survived because metal failed at the right moment. She lives with that every day. Keiko survived too. American cardiac surgeons flew 12 hours to operate on a Japanese prisoner. First recorded cardiac surgery on an enemy combatant by U.S. military personnel. She manages the camp's medical records now. Her handwriting is precise. Her heartbeat is stable. Harumi works in the hospital tent, not as a patient, as a volunteer. She changes bandages, holds hands, translates for women who arrive terrified, expecting what she once expected. "It's not what they told us," she says to each one. "I know you don't believe me. I didn't believe it either. But look at my hands. I'm still here. I'm still whole. Watashi tachi wa tekidata, demo karera wa watashi tachi wo ningen to shite atsukata." We were enemies, but they treated us as humans. Sachiko went home. The war ended. Her family survived. She's in Nagoya now, teaching at a girls' school. She tells her students about the medical examination, about the woman who went first, about the armband that meant healer. 47 women from that tin building. 46 survived the war. 1, the pregnant woman, died in childbirth. Complications no surgery could fix. But her daughter lived. American nurses named her Hope. Her Japanese family kept the name. Yuki finishes her English lesson, collects the papers, walks outside into the Philippine sun. A frame hangs on her wall. Inside it, a white armband, Red Cross on fabric. She took it from a supply crate. Adams didn't mind. Her granddaughter will ask about it, decades from now. "What is this?" And Yuki will tell her. That's proof. Proof that what they told us about enemies wasn't true. Proof that the propaganda died the moment someone chose medicine over power. She'll pause, look at the faded fabric. "Lie down. Don't resist. 6 words that almost killed us, but we're still here, because someone chose to heal instead of hurt. The armband hangs there still, in a house in Nagasaki. A reminder. The first casualty of war is truth, but truth can be rebuilt, one heartbeat at a time.